Hey everyone, welcome back to part 2 of the retirement problem. I'm just gonna pick up where I left off in the last video, as I was talking about the how to solve increasing payments and how to determine what the initial payment will be using this table over here. So as I said previously, I like to treat each quarterly payment as an individual cash flow, find out what the value of that cash flow will be after the 25 years has passed. So at the date of retirement, how much each cash flow will be worth, and then I'll add everything up and see what it equals. So the whole point is to determine what this 8,000 will be, this initial payment. What will be the amount of your first, this should, actually this should say quarterly. I'm sorry about that. I just picked that up right now. Quarterly. There you go. So you want to figure out what the first initial quarterly payment will be. How we're going to do this, we're going to treat everything as a cash flow, as I said. You can see that all the payments are increasing by 1%. So you multiply the previous payment by 1.01 to figure out what the next payment will be. And then the future value function, you're just going to drag along. And because you have your absolute reference set for your EPR, and you have your 100 set as your final quarterly payment, and then you're subtracting each payment to figure out how far of a distance it is to that 100th payment. So basically, I'm just going to try to explain this in a way that makes sense. So for example, the fourth payment is 96 payments away from the final date, the final date before retirement. So 100 minus 4 will give you 96, and that's and Excel will use that to forecast what that present value will be worth, the 8,242 in 96 periods forward. So what you can do now is you just drag everything along, and Excel will do the math for you if you have everything set up properly. So we're going to highlight all this, we're going to drag it down, and you're going to go all the way down to 100 because there are 100 periods in 25 years. And you're going to get a final value. As you can see, the final payment is exactly the same because at the last payment, there's no time for that cash flow to increase in value because there's no interest being built on it. But as you scroll down, you can see that there's a greater difference between the two numbers because there's a greater amount of time. So what I meant before also by the 100 periods is, if you can see here, it's 100 periods minus 100 periods because there's no interest being built on that. So that's why the number is the exact same. So now what you do is you add up every single cash flow and see how much it'll be worth at the end of your retirement. So you use the sum function for this. You have your array here. So you go all the way up to the first payment, you add it all up, and you can see that it'll be worth 2.7 million. Now, you could sit here and do guess and check over and over until you reach the shortfall amount, which was 2.8 million. Oh, we're actually quite close. But anyway, it's going to take forever if you sit there and you play around. That's why we have the goal seek function in Excel. So to use the goal seek function, you're going to set up a difference column, and you want to make sure that the difference between the sum of all the cash flows minus the amount needed, the deficit, is 0. So right now it's 85,000, it's no good. But if we use Excel and we have everything set up properly, we can go to Data, What If, Goal Seek. We're going to set the difference to 0. So basically Excel will make sure that the final cash flow, the final future value cash flow, is equal to the shortfall, and it's going to work backwards to figure that out. So we're going to set the difference to 0 by changing the initial value. So that's why we entered this random value in the beginning, because it doesn't matter, because Excel is going to use that specific number and it's going to work to find a way to make the difference equal 0. So we press OK, and there you go. So the initial payment is 8,250. As you can see, the difference is 0, and the final future value is exactly equivalent to the shortfall. So using GoalSeek is one of the ways that I know. Other people have other ways of doing it, but this way makes the most sense. So again, each payment is treated as a separate cash flow, and you have to figure out how much it'll be worth at the date of the retirement, and you add up all those future cash flows. But using Excel is very straightforward and very simple, and you can use this on a test or an assignment. I hope you found this video useful and you have a better understanding of retirement problems. If you want to stay up to date with any future finance videos I post, just make sure you subscribe and you'll know the next time I post a video. Until then, catch you later.